Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 Shruti Sharma.
Hello and welcome to ForumIAS. Today is 28th May 2023 and these are all the articles that we are going to discuss today. The first article is about Telangana's Gongadi shawls that are refashioned into shoes. So, this is the all-weather shoe that is made with Deccani wool. So, this is Deccani wool. It is used to make the Gongadi shawl. Now, this same wool is now repurposed to make these shoes. So, the article says that the rough wool of the sturdy Deccani sheep has been handcrafted by the Kuruma and Kuruba pastoral communities. So, they are spread across the Deccan Plateau. The Kurumas and Kurubas, they are spread across Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Telangana, etc. They are spread almost all across the Deccan Plateau. These Kurumas and Kurubas, they are the pastoral community and they use the sturdy rough wool of the Deccani sheep. So we know that this Deccan region, it is a drought prone region. So the sheep that are present there are adapted to that condition and they have the sturdy wool and that wool is used to make the Gongadi shawl. Now that is now being repurposed into the shoes. And what is the purpose of this article from exam point of view? There might be a question on Gongadi shawl in MCQ, or you can use this as a fodder material. You can use this as a case study and you can quote in your GS mains answer. That is the purpose of this article. Next article, it is about the Sengol. Okay, so there are multiple articles that have come in today's newspaper about the Sengol. Here you can see the Sengol, which is the scepter. Sengol is a Tamil word and it is called as scepter in English. Now, we'll see in detail about this Sengol, what is the history, what are the relevant portions, we'll see that. And there is also an interesting story related to this. I'll tell that story so that you are able to retain this particular information in a much more efficient way. So firstly, why this is in news? Because the BJP government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, they have decided to keep in the new parliament building which will be inaugurated today the scepter that was presented by the Thiruvavaduturai Mutt. It is pronounced as Thiruvavaduturai, which is not very important for exam. Just understand that this particular mutt, it is located in Tamil Nadu. So, at the time of our country's independence, this mutt, they gifted to our country's first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, this particular Sengol or scepter. And that is now being placed in the new parliament building. So, this is the context. Now, we will see more about the scepter or Sengol. Though this particular Sengol that is going to be placed in the new parliament building, it is inspired by the Chola dynasty. But we can't say that this Sengol or scepter is limited to Chola dynasty or even to South India. So, in short, it is a symbol of power. We all know that there was a coronation which took place in England recently, and at that time also the scepter was presented to King Charles. Okay, so this is a worldwide practice. if we consider this particular practice within the context of India, this Sengol is inspired from the Chola dynasty, but there have been instances of a scepter being a symbol of power across the history. In North India also it is called as Rajadanda or Dharmadanda, and it is an essential element of power which is passed on to the newly appointed king. The Rajguru gives the Dharmadanda or Rajadanda to the newly appointed king. So even more so, it finds a mention in Kalidasa's epic poem Raghuvamsa. So this Raghuvamsa, it talks about the story of Raghuvansh, which is from the king Dilipa to Ram, Lord Ram. So Lord Ram is from the Raghuvansh, that is the Raghu dynasty. And Dilipa is one of the pioneers of this Raghu dynasty, and Lord Ram is a very important member of this dynasty. In this particular epic, Raghuvamsha, this mention of Rajdanda is there. And also in Samudragupta's coinage, we can see the images of Rajdanda. We can see the king, that is Samudragupta, holding it in his left hand. So generally a scepter is a decorated rod that is made of gold and it is studded with precious stones. So it is held by kings, queens as a symbol of authority and power. And this is a very common practice in Western countries also. As I said earlier, King Charles III of the UK, when his coronation took place recently, the Archbishop of Canterbury, he placed a golden scepter in his hand. Like we had the Rajguru tradition in India, in the UK they have the Archbishop of Canterbury who passed on this scepter to the newly appointed king. So the Sengol, it symbolizes a just and fair governance by a king. So it is not just an object, it symbolizes justice, fair governance. That is why element of Sengol, it is being placed in our new parliament building. So Sengol is a virtue the kings had been particular to abide by than it is an object. It is not merely an object, it is a virtue. It more so signifies the virtue. And this can be seen from the Tamil epic Silappatikaram. In the Sangam age portion of ancient history, you will read about this Silappatikaram. This is the first Tamil epic in which common man and women are hero and heroine. So in that particular epic, the common man, he is called as Kovalan and the woman is Kannagi. So in this particular epic, this Kovalan, he is falsely accused of a crime he did not commit and he is sentenced to death by the Pandya king. So we studied in Sangam age, right? There were Cheras, Cholas and Pandyas. So this Kovalan is sentenced to death wrongfully by the Pandya king. And then Kannagi claims justice for her husband and she approaches the Pandya king. So then he realizes the mistake. So he offered his life and he restored the uprightness of the Sengol that is bent by fate of injustice. Like I said already, Pandyan fell from his throne and died after realizing that he had committed an injustice by mistakenly ordering capital punishment to this Kovalan. So he realizes his mistake once Kannagi approaches the Pandya king for justice and he gives up his life. So he says that, am I a king? I am not a king, I am a thief. He realizes his mistake and he lets go of his life. When the Chera king hears of this information, he says that Pandyan offered his life and restored the uprightness of Sengol bent by the fate of injustice. From this statement, we can clearly understand that Sengol is nothing but a virtue which signifies justice. So, such has been the historical importance of this particular object and it is being placed in our new parliament building, and this is very important from art and culture point of view. Next, it is talking about iron fortification. So the article is quite technical in nature, and whatever is the crux of the article is given in this infographic, and there is a way forward also that is given. So we will see that one by one. So first of all, what is iron fortification? That we need to understand. So what happens is a food staple, that is, it can be wheat, it can be rice, it can be salt, that is staple food which is consumed every day on a regular basis. So it is fortified to provide up to 2/3 of iron requirement for adult women and almost the entire daily requirement for men. So when the rice or wheat is fortified, it will provide very significant amount of iron to both men and women. So if there is any excess consumption of iron, that is possible if someone is consuming a balanced quality diet or they exceed the limit for consumption of fortified food. And it is said that the upper limit for consumption of iron is 40 milligram per day. Beyond that, it is not considered to be recommended. Okay, so beyond that is iron overdose. So what will happen as a result of iron overdose? First of all, why do we need fortification of iron? Many women in our country, young girls, teenage girls, they are suffering from anemia. In order to combat this, rice is being fortified. However, we are also facing the danger of iron overdose. So, there is a defined level of iron intake beyond which the risk of adverse events begins to increase. So, defined level, we already saw that it is 40 milligram per day. Beyond this, adverse effects will start taking place. So, why? Because even if there is excess of iron, the excretion of iron is steady and it is very small, except when bleeding takes place. So women undergo menstrual bleeding, so they are able to excrete out the excess iron. But in other cases, the women who do not menstruate or men, in that case, it is difficult for them to excrete this iron also, because the excretion of iron is steady and it is very small. Okay, so that is what is given in the first point. While women can excrete iron from the body through menstrual bleeding, men cannot. This makes men particularly vulnerable to excess iron intake. So this type of sentence-based questions can be asked in MCQs. And also, why this iron fortification came into existence? Because there is a endemic of anemia in our country, which means there is a lack of hemoglobin. In order to give a encouragement to this, to fight anemia only, we are doing iron fortification. But if we see, based on research, the net benefit of iron fortification on hemoglobin formation is likely to be lower than thought. So it is kind of defeating the purpose. And the excess iron, it will remain unabsorbed. That is, only 5 to 10% of the ingested iron is absorbed. So if it is unabsorbed, what will happen? We already saw that excretion is slow and it remains unabsorbed. So as a result, it causes some unwanted effects. That is, this unabsorbed iron, it can lead to inflammation in the gastrointestinal lining and it will disrupt the colonic microbiota. Colonic means the microbes that are present in the colon. They are affected because of iron overdose, that is the unabsorbed iron. If there is gastrointestinal inflammation, it will lead to cramps, abdominal cramps, it can lead to diarrhea. So these are all some of the harmful effects of iron overdose. Then excess iron has also been closely linked to diabetes. So it also increases the risk of diabetes if iron is consumed more than normal. And iron can also cause liver cirrhosis, which happens because of excessive alcohol consumption. So even good things, the nutrients, if they are in overdose also, they are leading to harmful effects such as diarrhea, diabetes, liver cirrhosis. So all these are the harmful effects of iron overdose. But we have this public health emergency we need to tackle, that is the anemia. So in that case, what needs to be done by the government? What should be the public health intervention? So it is said that even though this iron fortification, it has been successful in addressing iron deficiency, we also have to keep in mind the dangers of consuming too much iron. So, rather than adopting mandatory iron fortification program, it is imperative to develop individualized strategies, and there should be thorough monitoring so that there is no harmful effects that were discussed in the earlier slide, they don't manifest. So there must be region specific. In wherever regions there is more of iron deficiency, there we need to supplement. We should not follow a universal policy, and it might lead to iron overdose. So some segments of population, they need the extra dietary iron, but not all sections of population need extra dietary iron. So there is a need for precision in public health. Why there has to be precision in public health? If we are going to follow a one size fits all policy, then it will lead to more harm than benefit. So instead of going for mandatory iron fortification for all segments of population, we should go for precision in public health, and we should go for section wise strategies so that we are able to combat iron deficiency, and we are also not leading our population to harmful effects of iron overdose. Okay, now we'll go to the next article. The next article is talking about the cheetah deaths taking place in the Kuno Reserve. So already in our presentations we have discussed about Project Cheetah. So nevertheless, we will provide a short refresher in today's discussion also. So we'll go into the discussion of the article. Why this is in news? Because in this week alone, 3 of the 4 cheetah cubs that were born at Kuno National Park in Madhya Pradesh, they died from natural causes. Why it was launched? It was launched to bring in the coming decade, that is in the period of 10 years, there will be 5 to 10 animals that will be brought into India every year until we have a self-sustaining population of about 35 is established. And first of all, we should know that cheetah became extinct in India by 1950. That is why we are importing or rather translocating cheetah from African continent, and in this particular project cheetah will be bringing in 5 to 10 animals every year, and we'll see how they develop, and eventually the end goal is to achieve a self-sustaining population of 35. So we are bringing these cheetahs from South Africa and Namibia, but the animals that are there in South Africa and Namibia, they are living in fenced reserves. But when we bring them to India, when we translocate them to India, India's plan is to have them in natural, unfenced, wild conditions. That is our plan, because India's wildlife protection strategy is more about coexistence. That is how we have implemented Project Elephant, Project Tiger, etc. So we have experience in implementing coexistence. Coexistence of who? Coexistence of man and the wild. We have experience in that, and our conservation culture is also more aligned to that. So in this Project Cheetah also, we will be going for a coexistence approach, which means these cheetahs, they will be living in natural, unfenced, wild conditions. Why did the cheetah cubs die then? What is not working in our Project Cheetah? The cause of death after post-mortem, it was attributed to extreme heat, weakness and malnutrition. Obviously, these are African cheetahs and they have been translocated into Asia. Because cheetah became extinct in India in 1950, we don't have a lot of data and experience dealing with cheetah. So, India in itself, our wildlife institutions, our environment ministry, our national parks, we are still learning about cheetah, how they are acclimatized to conditions in Asia, particularly India. So, we are in a learning phase. But this kind of premature deaths are alarming, and we have to study what and all mistakes were made in order to do necessary course correction in Project Cheetah. So, are these deaths unusual? Is this something that happens naturally in the wild, or are these deaths something that concerns us? Should we need to be worried about these cheetah cub deaths? That is the question before us. So, this first litter, which was born in India, it had 4 cubs, and 3 of them have died. And moreover, 3 adults which were translocated from Africa, they have also died. What is the reason of death of these 3 adult cheetahs? It has been reported that there has been skirmish among the animals, and as a result of that, one cheetah has died. One cheetah has died because of renal infection, that is kidney infection. Another cheetah died because of cardiovascular problem. So, even naturally, the cheetah cubs in the wild, they have a very high mortality rate compared to other big cats like tigers and lions. And it is said that they have a survival rate of only 10%. So, if there are 100 cubs that are born, then only 10 grow into adulthood. Such is the very low survival rate of cheetahs. So, this cub deaths in which 3 out of the 4 died, it is quite natural going by this particular piece of statistics. And this is not the litter that was born in Namibia, or it was born in Africa. It is the first litter to be born in India, and this litter was born to the cheetah which came from Namibia. And this particular cheetah was pregnant not through natural causes, it was hand bred. So, this mother cheetah, she was also inexperienced with respect to handling of her cubs. One is survival rate, another one is inexperience of the mother cheetah in handling her cubs. These are all the reasons that are attributed to the death of the cubs. So, what has been the success of Project Cheetah? How would we evaluate Project Cheetah at this stage? If we see, by September 2023, we will be completing 1 year since a batch of 8 cheetahs came from Namibia to India. Then 12 other cheetahs, they came from South Africa to India in Feb 2023. So totally 20 cheetahs arrived and 3 adults have died and 3 newly born cubs have also died. So in this context, how would we evaluate Project Cheetah? So we already saw the reason for death of the cubs. We know that the survival rate is low in case of cheetah. So actually speaking, even if half of the cheetahs survive the first year, then also it would be an indicator of success, because it is a first of kind translocation program across the continent. And some people, some critics say that it is a mistake to have all the 20 cheetahs at Kuno, and probably some of them should be redirected to the Mukundra Reserve in Rajasthan. But then the next batch which will come in this year, they will go to other reserves. So far what we can say about the success of Project Cheetah is the mortality is on the expected lines and we have to wait and watch. Next article of the day, it talks about the Ice Gate portal. So basically there is a new payment gateway feature which was introduced in the Ice Gate portal. Before understanding this particular news article, we should understand what is the Ice Gate portal. So the Ice Gate, it stands for Indian Customs Electronic Commerce / Electronic Data Interchange Gateway. So that is the expansion of Ice Gate portal, and it has been commissioned by Central Board of Indirect Taxes. Central Board of Indirect Taxes. So this IceGate portal, it provides e-filing services to the trade and cargo carriers and other clients of the custom department. So importers, exporters, they will file the whatever documents they need to file. They can file it through the IceGate portal in the form of e-filing. So the department, that is the Customs and Excise Department, they provide electronic filing of bill of entry. Entry is when a import consignment comes into India, shipping bills, related electronic messages between the customs and the trading partners. Trading partners can be importers or exporters. So, in short, this IceGate portal, it is a customs portal which gives a very easy system for filing of various documents by the importers and exporters. So, this news article talks about a new feature, that is, there was a new electronic credit ledger payment system which was introduced in the IceGate platform. So, the entire article is summarized through this infographic. So, payment issues plaguing importers in the wake of April 1 switchover to new customs interface has largely been resolved. So, this new electronic credit ledger payment system, it was introduced on April 1st and there were initial glitches. Now, they have been resolved. So, there was a problem in integrating with this new payment gateway, and the importers, which are the beneficiaries who use this portal, they say that there have been significant improvement in the recent weeks. And Tirupur, which is an export hub in Tamil Nadu, there is an official, some officials from this major export hub, they say that the payment system works well on most days. So largely this new system that is being introduced in the IceGate portal, it has been adapted successfully by the traders, and it has some minor glitches which has also been resolved. So it has been received in a very good way. That is what this article says. From exam point of view, you have to see what is this IceGate portal. That's all. Now we will discuss some previous year questions. Which one of the following is an artificial lake? A. Kodaikanal in Tamil Nadu, Kolleru in Andhra Pradesh, Nainital, Uttarakhand, and D. Renuka Lake in Himachal Pradesh. So this Kolleru lake, it is a natural lake. It is formed near a delta region. It is because of the braided channels which form near the delta, the sand deposits are there, and as a result this lake is formed naturally. Nainital, it is formed because the river that passes through Himalaya, they initially cut the Himalaya. They tried to cut the Himalaya. Before they successfully cut the mountain, the water piles up in front of the mountain. And after cutting, the river generally flows through. But there is a remnant of this nascent lake, and that becomes a lake in later days, which is Nainital. Similar mechanism is through which the Renuka lake in Himachal Pradesh, this lake was also formed through the similar mechanism. So the answer is Kodaikanal Lake. Kodaikanal is a hill station in Tamil Nadu, and this lake was created artificially by a British official. Next question. Which among the following events happened earliest? Swami Dayanand established Arya Samaj, B. Deenabandhu Mitra wrote Neel Darpan. C. Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay wrote Anand Mat. D. Satyendranath Tagore became the first Indian, this has to be Indian, to succeed in the Indian Civil Services examination. So, this happened in 1863. This event happened in the 1880s. And Swami Dayanand Saraswati, he also established the Arya Samaj in the 1880s. And Deenbandhu Mitra wrote Neel Darpan and it was formally published from Dhaka in 1860. So the event that happened earliest is B. Deenbandhu Mitra wrote Neel Darpan. So this was written during the Indigo Revolt. So these are all the questions from 2018 prelims, UPSC prelims. So here are some details about the previous question. Let us go to the last question. Consider the following statements. The Barren Island volcano is an active volcano located in the Indian territory. 2. Barren Island lies about 140 km east of Great Nicobar. 3. Last time the Barren Island volcano erupted was 1991 and it has remained inactive since then. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? So, Barren Island volcano, it erupted in 1991 but it hasn't remained inactive since then. There was a period in 2017-18 when this volcano stirred a little bit. So, it hasn't remained totally inactive. Totally dormant it hasn't become. So 3 is wrong and by elimination we can arrive at the answer. But these days UPSC is eliminating the elimination method. So we will see some facts about the second statement also. Here you can see the map of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So here you have the Barren Island volcano and this particular statement says that Barren Island lies about 140 km east of Great Nicobar. Nicobar is somewhere here and it is this particular Barren Island. It is not east of Nicobar. It is east of the Great Andaman Island, that is the Andaman Islands. It is nearer to the Andaman group and it is not nearer to the Nicobar group. Okay, so second statement is wrong and finally we arrive at the answer, that is A, one only. So there is a dormant volcano in India, that is in Narkondam Island. So this is a dormant volcano and it is also present in the Andaman and Nicobar group of islands. Barren Island is the only active volcano present in the Indian territory. So even if elimination doesn't work, you have enough facts to attend a question like this. So that's it for today's discussion. Follow us on all these social media platforms. This is Indumati signing off. Thank you. All the best.